logo came out nice too.
Is it?
Have you guys, who here has seen this logo, this Joy Cat on social before? Who here holds some Mog? Or has held some Mog?
Come on.
Okay. We got some Moggers in here. We got some Moggers here. How's everyone doing consensus? Everyone good? Hold on, this is snooze fest. How's everyone doing consensus? Everyone good?
Yeah.
There we go. All right, listen. Pedro's on his way. He's somewhere here running around. We got Mike. We got Seb, Sophon here. Seb, why don't you give us quick, like little intro, who you are, what you do?
Yep. My name's Seb. I'm the founder and CEO of Sophon. Sophon is a blockchain. It's a new blockchain focused completely on consumer and entertainment. And before that, I was, there we go, Mike's better.
There we go.
I was leader at ZK Sync Matter Labs for several years.
Wow, I didn't know that. It's pretty cool.
Yep.
Love that. Mike, I mean,
Yes, sir.
for CT, you need no intro, but this ain't CT, so I'm gonna need a little introduction.
Name's Mike 3. I'm an artist. Work with MogCoin. I'm like their active creative director.
I love that. I just can't get over the mask because it's so fun. Listen,
It sounded a lot good on paper. Like I
Yeah.
can't see a thing, but I hope it's
you can't see anything.
enjoyable.
There's like thousands of people right now. Don't stress. Anyways, look, a topic that comes up a lot here in this industry is the C word, culture. We love to talk about culture, but very few people actually seem to understand it. Another key word is onboarding. We love to say we're onboarding people, but we're terrible at keeping the people we're on board. Study the Argentina coin, right? We onboarded the masses only to rug them all and leave them with nothing, which is pretty sad. And here we have some builders that are actually properly onboarding in different levels and trying to keep the people on. So I want to discuss in depth, like, you get the people in the space. How do we keep them, Seb? You're on the chain side. There's a lot of blockchains. Like, oh, why one more L2? But how are you guys at Sophon doing the work to not only onboard, but keep the people in the space?
So for us, it's we actually never really talk publicly. I mean, we're at a crypto conference, so we can discuss it here, but normally we'll never talk about crypto or blockchains when it comes to end products on Sophon. The goal is to have all of that invisible, to be in the background as much as possible. And there's a very deep and intense focus on design, on branding, on the user experience that we can give on the front end, right? Crypto's great. Most front ends suck. Too many clicks, too many buttons, too many complicated user experiences. So everybody that we work with, we take a very deep partner success, partner engineering journey to have this design-led experience so that you can bring the next wave of people on chain, right? And I call it like forking Web 2. We're trying to bring, we're forking the intuitiveness that people have with Web 2 user flows and just baking in crypto to the background one step at a time.
So really account extraction.
Exactly.
Yeah. Because there's so many buttons, right? Like, I think to make a transaction on MetaMask was something like 70 buttons you got to click, and then you're there. So the people are kind of lost in between. Quickly, Pedro, what up? How you doing?
I'm good.
You're not sweating. You're good. You're looking good. Don't worry. The hair is still nice.
I look great in sweats. Like, it kind of works out.
It's a big venue.
It is a big venue. Like I found out the worst way.
So Pedro, give us a little introduction for the people.
Yeah. So WalletConnect has been like a staple brand in the crypto industry for 7 years.
Big.
But most importantly, it has provided the infrastructure for essentially every wallet and every blockchain to just provide a great user experience. And I saw you already mentioned about account abstraction. That's a huge topic to onboard people, and I'm really happy that we're actually getting there.
So you say we're actually getting there, but why are we not there yet?
Well, you can't just like change the infrastructure of like 100 million people in a day, right? Even wallets who are very happy to onboard people through account abstraction, it requires a lot of work for them, and they have to do it in a way that doesn't upset their customers, it doesn't upset their partners, and they have to do it in a way that it's beneficial for everyone. And there's too much nuance in account abstraction right now.
Yeah, I do agree with that. There's too much nuance. So like, what do you think the next steps in that would be? What are some things that you'd like to see from the wallet that you work with?
I feel like with wallets, what we're working with them is essentially trying to agree of what it would look like for the user experience. Because even though people understood that like account abstraction is the right approach, it doesn't necessarily mean we actually agree on how that looks like in the future. And for me, it should look like just as an invisible login where account abstraction happens underneath the hood and you don't even need to know why. And right now, we're trying to aim to a better WalletConnect experience where you connect your wallet once and you forget about it. Because right now, you can't forget about your wallet. Like the wallet is screaming at you, sign this transaction, go here, do that, approve this, and there's gas. Like there's just too much things screaming in your face. It kind of ruins the experience of the app.
Yeah, it does. Mike, you and I talked about this a little bit behind the scenes, but with all this account abstraction, then how do we actually get people involved in our culture, right? I think, Mog, one thing I personally really like about you guys is that you're one of the first real like culture coins in a way. But like for you, how do we actually get people hooked on our culture? Because we can say culture all we want, but
Yeah, I mean, maybe it's important to define like what we mean by culture. First, I think it's like a shared set of beliefs.
Yeah.
Like values that we hold, and then like artifacts, and maybe like practices. I think been thinking about this a lot actually. It's interesting. There's like a culture shock going on right now, where you have like crypto natives and people who've been in it for, maybe a decade or more, with a lot of new entrants that don't necessarily share the same ethos of like decentralization and caring about like a freedomless or a freedom to transact in like a permissionless way. So I don't know. I think it's interesting with like just the idea that like they're not even interacting with the blockchain in the same way that you used to. They might sign a transaction to set up a wallet, and then the next transaction that they'll sign is to like off ramp. So like I wonder, like, I don't know what the answer is there, but it's interesting because like there's definitely like a just like a being out of sync. I think
So what is culture then in that sense in our space? What's crypto culture? What's so different?
What's different between what?
Like our culture. Like what is it to be part of the crypto culture to you?
Well, I mean, again, I think it's I think the root of it is a decentralization ethos, and like just the idea that you can anyone anywhere can like send, receive, and like store value without a third party of some kind, like a bank or a government or whatever. I think that's like the root of it, and then also just the idea that you're like building collaboratively without like a top-down hierarchy in an open way. And kind of like gaining consensus as you do that. I think that's like pretty foreign. And I think a lot of the friction happens with like having expectations of new participants that maybe are unfair. Because like how are we're onboarding them? We talk about that a lot with like financial incentives, but like how are we onboarding them culturally or like philosophically? Like if you talk about like what matters to like the crypto culture, I think it's again, I don't know what the answer is, but I feel like the tools themselves could like maybe lend themselves to sharing that experience and that ethos with them, even in the case where you're like sacrificing security and self-sovereignty for like speed and ease of use. I think that's a good trade-off to make in some cases. And I guess I would just say like also like it's better to have people on chain like performing transactions in that way. It's easier to onboard them into the culture if they're maybe transacting in a way that's low friction.
Seb, it seems you wanted to add to that.
Yeah, I think, would you say in a very like CT native way that that crypto culture is kind of making money together? It seems to me like if you look at CT and anything that kind of becomes cultural there, it's when communities shape and form, like Mog did, for instance, and people kind of like ride it together, make money together, and they're not getting rugged, right?
It feels like we're losing money together right now. It goes both ways.
But you're in it together, right? And like the biggest, maybe like the last 6-12 months, the hype launch was the phenomenon that made people the most money.
Yeah.
Because the airdrop made people a lot of money, but then typically when something launches and there's an airdrop, people make money, then they sell, and then it's kind of cooked.
So what made
But
it
hype,
that they all...
because they launched low enough that people could, even if you didn't use hype or you didn't participate in the airdrop, you could still buy it and continue to make money with it, right? Because they launched at a relatively low valuation, and then everybody becomes a community member, right? And I feel like that, or in the case of Mock, for instance, because there's a lot of meme coins, right? Most of them are shit. Most of them are going up and back down, or people
Last, like,
people
2
rug
hours.
last 2 hours. But the ones that have legs that can actually be considered kind of blue chips, like Mog, like Pepe, like Doge, they have huge communities of people that have made money together, and then they become spokespeople for those projects.
Is that how you guys trying to approach it with Sophon?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, our go-to-market for our particular, for the chain, for the token, will be to launch quite low. Arthur Hayes wrote about it last week. You got to let people make money with your token, right? So I think it's definitely very important. There's not much of a meme coin culture on Sophon because I think, like, to be honest, if you're going to launch a meme coin today, you should do it on Solana. That's where most of the liquidity is. Us, it's much more focused on very end user applications, whether it's like social stuff, gaming, lots of different sectors. But I think for like meme and very culture-driven tokens, Solana is a great place to do it.
Yeah, I mean, Solana's kind of become the casino, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like the other chains are just most focused on apps in that sense.
Yeah.
Pedro, for you guys, it's a bit different. It's interesting, this panel, because what I like is that we have, on the wallet side, right? You guys power like every wallet. They have a proper meme coin that's been around for longer than 16 hours. And then, actually, what, a year and a half now? Almost 2 years this summer.
Yeah, yeah.
And then you have Seb here, who's building an entire chain, which actually has real users, which is super cool. But on the wallet side, like, how do you guys approach building a brand and this culture within the space? Because we don't really interfere with WalletConnect as a brand, but we all use WalletConnect.
Yeah.
So how do you approach that?
I think that WalletConnect, the best analogy you can make is a little bit like Visa.
Okay.
Like Visa and MasterCard are not brands that you interact with,
No.
but you use every day.
Yeah.
And every bank relies on them for pretty much every payment that we use, like, on a daily basis, whether it's buying a flight ticket to go to Hong Kong or to pay for coffee. It's something that just exists and you trust it because it's everywhere. And it's making sure that you have a safe and seamless experience. That's what we're trying to entail, that as long as you use WalletConnect, you will have a great experience. And you are not bound by any partner that we have. We support 600 wallets.
Wow.
We're pretty much in every application, every layer one. We just want to make sure that you can enjoy crypto safely and seamlessly.
How many users?
Right now, we've almost hit 40 million.
Wow.
Fuck? That's crazy. 40 million people
Yeah.
have
These
used
are-
WalletConnect.
And the interesting thing about WalletConnect is
Wow.
because we're an infrastructure project, we do not count on-chain traffic. In fact, we are private, so we actually don't know how much money you own in your wallet. It's designed like this for privacy, but we do know the exact number of wallets. And these are not addresses on chain, which many people can have 10 or even 100 addresses. These are actual users.
That's 40 million.
40 million, like, mobile phones.
Wow. What do you... I mean, wow, but in a way, that's also early,
Yeah.
right? Like,
I
when
think we're
did
just
you
getting
start
started.
that? When did you start WalletConnect?
Well, the very first WalletConnect was March 2018, so we're almost reaching our 7-year anniversary next month.
7 years, 40 million. Where do you see guys going next year?
Well, if we're not hitting $1 billion, we're not doing our job right.
True? Yeah.
Because we're not here to compete for the best wallet or the best app or even the best blockchain. Like, we're really here to grow the ecosystem as a whole. And to touch on, like, what is crypto culture for us, it's openness, it's borderless. It's really unbounded enjoyment of the internet.
I love that. I love that. What do you think, Mike? What do you think we're doing wrong? Because right now the meme coin mania has hit this kind of, I don't want to call it a peak because I don't like to call top. It's not who I am. If you know me, you know I'm always bullish. But like, something went wrong here, clearly. I feel like the whole space reset.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, like again, there's this like culture shock of like it going mainstream, and everyone being really excited about that, but people are coming in and, they don't necessarily share the same values. And I think onboarding people with like solely with just financial incentive is probably it. Like
Has the financial incentive gone too far?
yeah, like how do we like onboard people culturally and introduce them to like the shared values? And it's fine, I think, if like the financial incentive is what draws people in, and then the ease of use of different tools. That's all great. But yeah, like maybe, I don't know, maybe the tools can help share the ethos better. Maybe the community can be more welcoming, and like, just having a clear path for someone who does want to enter. That's not always the case, Like I don't think people know, like half the time, like all the, the subculture metas and, I mean, even in just crypto broadly, like it's gotten so big that there's subcultures within the subculture itself now. So I don't know. I think probably just
it's like so many different pockets,
more
right?
inclusivity, maybe. Yeah, I don't know.
You guys obviously most focus on, it's like even each chain almost has its own culture, subculture, right? Like you have the Bitcoiners, you have the Ethereum heads. I mean, you guys are on ETH. Then even within ETH, you have all the different chains and L2s. Do you find that tough? Because like there's this often like now this criticism in the space. It's so many chains, so little apps. So how do you guys navigate that?
Yeah, I definitely think ETH for me is I'm always in ETH Maxi because I think it's where all of the innovation happens, right? A lot of the builders, a lot of the new things that have come out over time have happened within the Ethereum ecosystem, not necessarily others. But L2s generally were like a breeding ground for experimentation. A lot of different engineering companies came up and they open source their stacks and they just give, again, the tools for people to be able to build at the application layer, right, to go up. What does that do? It also creates some kind of fragmentation. It fragments liquidity. It can fragment cultures. It creates subcultures. So there's like a good and, it's kind of like the price to pay, right? But overall, for me, I see it as a good thing. I think I'm very bullish on the way that I look at the world and my team looks at the world because we only focus on, we're a product-led company, not an engineering-led company. We're not trying to build a new ZK proof system. We take the tech that we think is the best and then we build products first with a very, very empathetic focus on design, UI, UX, on those primitives. And I think that that's the mentality that you have, that you have to have if you want to get new folks on chain, like kind of like the next wave of people on chain. People who are used to using Web2 flows, but are not going to learn the typical Web3 flows that we have now, which are a little bit cumbersome.
So what are some apps? I mean, maybe there's aspiring founders or users in the audience or online, because I know we're streaming on live online as well. What are some apps that you'd like to see built on your chain?
The big focus for us going forward is to build in-house what's called the Sophon Data Hub. So it uses a piece of infrastructure called zk-TLS, which essentially allows you to take and pull data from Web2 applications and verifiably prove them, but in a private way on chain. So you can let people sign in with their Spotify, their Uber, their Ticketmaster account, whatever, and then you essentially build what I call a social oracle on chain. And at Sophon, we're building a data hub for this, so users can sign in with all different kinds of accounts. They get rewards for it. There's a loyalty program that goes with it. And then people are going to build different kinds of, let's say, entertainment or social applications that can pull this data. And the possibilities are endless. You could build prediction markets on top of it. You could build loyalty programs. I mean, the big thing in crypto is that people have wallets. They don't have accounts. And in the Web2 space, you have an account, right? Think of Linktree.
Yeah.
We're building the Linktree for people to come on chain in a way, where you link all of your different IRL, social, or consumer-focused applications. And then as a crypto company, if you want to work with someone, I can tell you, well, I know who my users are. I know how they're behaving. It's not just wallet 1, wallet 2, wallet 3. There's actually an account. And I think people care about accounts in the Web2 space, and you need to sort of bring this back into the Web3 space as well.
What do you think of that? I mean, I feel like you guys can relate to that.
Yeah.
Accounts versus wallets.
I really like the terminology, right? Because too many times people confuse accounts and wallets, wallets and accounts, but it's not really true. Wallets should be essentially the partner with the user to manage its accounts, not to be the owner of that account. Like the user should be able to actually have its account everywhere. And the account might look different in an application or another. And the wallet is just there to facilitate that experience, to manage their digital identity, which the account is associated. And yes, the user might have multiple accounts because all of us have like our degen personality and our more proper personality. And then those would be two separate accounts. But then even those accounts have different contexts on different applications. And the wallet is just there to tie it all together so that you still keep the control and the choice and the composability in the internet.
No, this is so true. I kind of want to ask you guys each, like, because we still have quite some time left, like, you know, I'll start with you, Pedro, since we're talking. Like, what's something that really excites you most about what you guys are building, and maybe something that you want people to pay attention to coming for WalletConnect?
Yes.
I know you also, I think, you know, there was a token launch recently, etc.
So we launched the token in November, but it's still non-transferable. So people are really excited to actually start trading WCT. But since then, we actually built like a large community. We have like 200,000 token holders. About like 30% of them are currently staking. We have about 10% of the supply already staked. We have 16 node operators. But I think the most exciting part about what we've been growing is actually this superior user experience around smart sessions. And smart sessions will really remove the idea that the wallet needs to get in the way.
What's a smart session?
So a smart session is when you connect to your wallet, too many times the wallet is asking you, approve this transaction, approve this message. It's like everything that used to take like one or two steps become a 10-step process. So the smart session tends to automate this by creating a policy engine that will allow the WalletConnect network to protect you from malicious activity, but not have to ask the user every time to approve every single transaction. That way, the experience is going to be much better because nobody wants to be reviewing every single transaction. Some of these transactions are pure nonsense for the average user. And we just need to make sure that the users are safe and they can enjoy without the hustle of approving every transaction.
That's awesome. That's actually pretty smart. You know, it's kind of annoying when your MetaMask always pops up every time you open a new link and just asks you to sign more. And sometimes it scares you.
Yes.
Like, wait, something's wrong here, right? Mike, what about you? From on the mock side, you guys are almost 2 years in running, which is kind of rare for a meme coin, not gonna lie. Dogecoin set quite the standards, what, 10 years old? But now, like, the average meme coin is 10 minutes old.
Right.
You know, so like, what excites you more about like what you guys got? I mean, you guys you got Coinbase. So from then, it's like, now what? You know, what excites you most about being part of MOG?
I mean, I think it's attracted like such a cool group of people that's not PvP at all. Like super talented artists and builders, and people are just super bullish about crypto in general. So continuing to help proliferate that meme, that's kind of emerged organically. Because MOG wasn't a meme to begin with, it's just a verb. And that's slang for people who don't know, is really just kind of, you know, winning, performing your best, kind of like besting your competition. But it's not competitive like aggressively in that sense. Like it is kind of just bullish for crypto in general. Like Laser Eyes being like the Pit Vipers being like Laser Eyes of the cycle, kind of like that vibe. So just continuing to help.
Yeah, I got Pit Vipers right there, front row.
You know, proliferate that.
So it's kind of become like a staple. It's actually fun how you guys have turned like just some coin into kind of like a, you know, you see someone with the Vipers outside, like, oh shit, like he's like mogging.
Yeah, like, are they holding?
Yeah, are they holding? And they may not even know what the hell it is, but I feel like it's like direct association. I wonder if you guys actually increased their sales. These guys.
I'm pretty sure we did. yeah.
I'm pretty sure you guys did. Seb, for you, what excites you most about? Like, talk to me more about what you got coming up. You know, on Sophon, what are you most excited about, and also how can people, you know, interact with it?
So we're going to be building out and putting online this whole Sophon data hub that I was telling you guys about. We also recently announced the SIA, the Sophon Intelligence Agency, because we had to have AI baked into what we were doing one way or another. So we put up $5 million from our treasury to sponsor different kinds of AI protocols who are launching on Sophon. We just announced a big partnership with Codex which is like basically like a big AI agent marketplace, similar to Virtuals a bit, I would say, which is built on Sophon, and they just launched their token on Base and Ethereum as well last week. So going live with this, and we'll be doing our TGE soon. So Sophon has a completely gasless experience. The Sophon token powers the chain. We technically launched the token last year, but just like the guys at WalletConnect, it's non-transferable, so it's not priced yet. We have a pretty big community since we did a node sale last year, right? So we did the largest node sale that a blockchain's done so far, which was...
That was nuts.
That was a big one. That was
that, $50 million? $60 million? Sorry. I just left $15 million out.
That was better. And so all of those guys are like our OG community guys, right? And so they're gonna get a lot of tokens coming in on day one when we list the token, which will be quite soon.
That's a lot of fun.
What's up? Yep.
So where's best for people to find you guys, Pedro? Because that was such a fascinating conversation. I kind of want people to be able to follow you guys around. Best on X,
yeah,
Instagram.
I mean,
what do you?
Mostly on X, and you can find WalletConnect by just typing WalletConnect, and my username pretty much everywhere. Doesn't matter if it's Farcast or Lens or X. You can find it at Pedro UID. And yeah, keep it up with the updates at WalletConnect because we have a lot of things coming in March.
They do, actually. I heard they're doing something pretty cool with our prediction market platform soon. So I know a guy. Who told me WalletConnect and Rug Radio and Myriad will be partnering pretty shortly. What about you, Mike? Just Mike 3 on X? It's my favorite meme maker too, by the way.
Mogcoin, at Mogcoin on X.
Okay, Mogcoin as well. Check out Mogcoin.
Yeah.
And Sophon is very simple.
Send the ticker, man. Just send the ticker.
Yeah, what's the ticker?
Ticker's Mog.
What about you?
On X.
On X,
Yeah.
easiest,
I'm very
Sophon.
quick.
There you
Sophon
go.
on X.
All right, that was us. Shout out to WalletConnect, Mog, Sophon. Thank you for having us, Hong Kong. Peace out.
Thanks, Farokh.